Right, how's it going? This is the Mobile Car Doctor. We're working on a Mini Cooper. What year is this, sir?
06.
It's an 06. And
Ace model.
yeah, the Ace model. Now look at this. We got an oil pan to put in. Okay, well you might see on the internet a lot of people like to go and take that bumper off. They like to take the radiator mount and support and all those gizmos out. We're going to try another way, so hang tight. The first thing we're going to do here is we're going to take that little tiny bolt there. We're going to take this breather part out. Now somebody's come over here and already broke this, so see, that's not even attached, but we're going to take the bolt out anyway. I want to get this tube off first. Get you a torch or something to heat it up, because that's been on there a long time and the engine heat has hardened. Stay back a little ways, don't want to burn anything, and then we're going to give it a try. Go ahead and try to pull it. Let's see what happens. Look at that. Sucker came right off, didn't it? That's without breaking that plastic piece right there. Now you got to be real careful with these, so go ahead and heat the hose up. It's your best bet. Okay, now for this piece right here, just push it out. See, it's going to be a little arm there that holds it. And then we're going to take that bolt off. We're going to unsnap it from right here, this little lock. We're going to push that off.
Out there.
Yep. And then there's another little bolt right there in the back. Okay. Once you've got those bolts out, you just pop that right on up. You got that disconnected there, remember? And then boom, here's your air filter. Pull that out. You'll be able to view down there, see what's going on and how that's held in. You can see this little tiny piece of plastic right here pushes in and out. The idea is to get this box out of here. So I'm sure with a real good pull it'll come out, and we're going to figure that out right now. Okay, yeah, so right here at the front of this tubing, just pop that out. So you got these little clips here. You're going to have to pull those clips off. Pull that clip off right there. And then we're going to pop the tube and this assembly out at the same time. Okay, so now we're going to take the battery and disconnect it and move it out of the way.
10 millimeter.
Get you a 10 millimeter.
I need to disconnect those.
In reverse, and we're ready to go. Yeah, we're going to take this bar off. Okay, and this one, we're going to set that right over here, a little retainer for the battery. Set that out of the way. And using the same 10, we can loosen up the top of the cable with the 10. There you go. And loosen this one up. We're going to just move those out of the way.
Make sure that's on there good. It's over there. I'll loosen it from the post.
Good. That should come right up. There we go. We got that disconnected. We're going to pull the battery out now. There we go. We're going to set the battery over there in our part pile. Now the next thing we do is take a 10 millimeter and take these bolts out of the bottom of this. We're going to remove this out of our way so we can access the mount bolts that are right underneath there. Okay, so we ended up just pulling it up, flipping it over, and setting it over to the side. We don't have to disconnect it right now at this point, so I don't see any reason to disconnect it. So right now we're looking at the frame piece that goes over here on this side, and we're going to try to pop that whole assembly right on out of there. Okay, there's one more bolt right down here on the front side. Don't miss it. Okay, well, we took the box out. Well, you got to jiggle it around. He's got an amp in here, so we had to disconnect the amp, pull the wire out, you know, a couple things. You pull this back a little bit, it pops out. It'll slide straight up. This is out of the way. Now we're going to go for these mounts down here on the bottom. But before we do this, what we want to do is we want to lift the car and put two stands underneath the frame of the car, which is by the doors. We don't want to put it anywhere on the subframe, because I'm going to show you a trick to taking that oil pan off. Now you lift it right there. There's a lifting point right underneath the little block. You make sure that that's on the block when you're lifting it. And you want your jack stand to be right next to it. But that's plastic, so what you're going to have to do is find a spot for your jack stand without using the subframe, because we're going to lower that. Now, don't forget at this point, you got one side up, set your emergency brake for your rear. Now, it's the same thing on the passenger side. There's a little block, you line it up, and you jack it up. Now, when you get these up, the Coopers aren't that heavy. So, you don't have to worry about the little subframe they made underneath. You can actually put a stand on it, and it will support it. So you get this as high as you can. And you put one right over there. See the stand? It's right on this little subframe, that little strip right there. Now we're going to simply take these nuts off on both sides of the struts, because that's all attached to the subframe and everything else, so that's going to drop with the engine. Now you want to put the jack, now that you have the car up in the air and everything, see? You want to put the jack right underneath the oil pan. We're going to lift the oil pan.
Oh, look, sorry.
Just nudge it up. And this is just to hold the engine weight right now, and the subframe and all that, okay? So there we go. Okay, we look good right now. Now we can take the mounts off the top. Okay, so this is an 18. Get an 18 millimeter. As soon as you get the nut off, there's a bolt right here on the side. Just pull that bolt on out of there too, because that's going to hold this bottom piece. We need to remove it so we could lower this whole thing about 6 inches. Better yet, I took a closer look. There's 2 right here in the back, 2 right here in the front. We're going to take those out so this whole assembly comes out. Then the whole engine will go down. We won't have to remove this. We'll just have to lift the engine a little bit to remove the bracket.
I'm using 1/2 inch though.
So we're going to use a 13 down here to get those motor mounts off. The same as we used for the struts on the top. Same size. So we got 2 on that side and 2 on this side. And we're just going to take them out. We're going to leave the mount in there because the engine's going down to service. And you have to take the compressor off to get to it. So what we're doing, we consider a shortcut. I really don't want to take the whole front end of the car apart. That's just the way I look at it. Yeah, it's all right. No, I'm not doing that.
Can you get it?
Now these bolts right here happen to be 16 millimeter, which is a 5/8, but you better use the 16, okay? The big ones. And one there. Now I went ahead and popped these hoses out right here so they'll stay up here above and they'll go down with the motor.
Get that.
And there's another bolt there. It's not out yet. It's not out yet. A little more. Okay. There it comes. As you can see, we didn't take that little plastic shield off. We just know we can get in there. There you go. Now we're going to get those 2 back ones. Okay, as he takes the last bolt out, you'll see the engine drop. As soon as we figure this out,
yeah,
we got it. There it goes. Now I got the jack underneath supporting it, so it's not going to fall and cause any damage. There you go. See, now the whole thing's loose. Just try to get it out of there. You might have something attached to the side. You just look around. Nope, there's nothing there. There's a little bracket down there. You just move that out of the way. See that little bracket? Just move it out of the way. Lift that up. We're going to jack up the motor right now. Chris is going to jack the motor up, and then we're going to pull that bracket out of there. Here it comes. Look at it come. Look, Chris. When it gets enough clearance, we're going to stop. A little more. There we go. So we're going to pull that right out of there. Set that over in our parts area. Oh, what do we got to it? Oh, look at that. Underneath it, they have a ground underneath. So, it looks like a 13 millimeter. We're going to go ahead and take that ground off of that mount. Then we can set the mount over there. Right now we could probably just leave the mount here. What do you think?
Yeah, probably.
Let's just leave it here. We won't have to move its position because it's facing this way. That way it'll go right back where it belongs. Okay, we're going to slowly lower the motor and see if we can get to that compressor. There we go. Now, that dropped quite a bit. Let's go look. Let's go see if we can get to that compressor. Look at that. Look at that. I could almost get the bolt right there on top. I could get that bolt out on the side. look on this side. And yeah, I could go right through that side and get the other bolt. And with the lines on it, this is genius. We could just set the compressor down and get on with taking the oil pump out. Well, hope you enjoyed your lesson, and you can see why we're changing it. I might show a little more. There's a bracket here holding it in. You'll figure it out. You take that out, and then there's a little fan here. See the little cooling fan? You want to take that housing off, disconnect the wire, remove it, and that's it. The rest of it looks pretty easy. Just take all the bolts out all the way around it, and you'll be able to start with your new one. As soon as the compressor's out of the way, you'll be able to see this whole corner. Thanks for joining me, and like I said, right here, you put an extension up, reach back, disconnect the compressor. And if you have any problems with that, well, you're doing it a sucky way. But right now, you can actually reach everything without taking the front end of your Cooper apart. Thanks for joining the Mobile Car Doctor. Talk to you later.